The thing about working on your SaaS and software product is you need to know exactly what's the most important thing to build right now and what isn't. Because, as you know, we all have limited time, and if we don't use it smartly, we are going to waste it. You can go months and months developing a software without really working on the core value of your product. And if you don't do that, users are not going to use your product, and this is not the ideal outcome we want to get as SaaS entrepreneurs. Now, last week I gave myself a deadline to launch my first MVP. It's going to be done by August 31st. And this week I started to ask myself, how the f am I going to make it with all these features I need to build? So in this video, I'll share with you how I made sure this week that I'm working on the right things and I don't waste time, and how I integrated payments to my SaaS, not using Stripe. Welcome to the SaaS Challenge, and if you don't know me, my name is Jonathan, the man with the bun, which you can't see right now, who is sharing with you the journey of doing software development for my living. Let's get started. So obviously you didn't watch the video from last week, but what happened last week is I gave myself a deadline. I told myself, okay, I want to build this software by August 21st, and one of the reasons why I did it is because if you don't give yourself a deadline, it's going to take you more time than what you think it is. So I started the week and I was starting to keep doing what I did. I started working on the software. So the idea from last week was building some LinkedIn automation with a CRM. I started working on the CRM, and this is what I did for the past few weeks. So in the start of this week, I started working on the CRM, but what happened is there were so many questions that I wasn't sure how to answer. How is the user going to add to the CRM? How is it going to do that? If it's going to do it with the automation, how am I going to connect the things? And so many questions that I wasn't sure about. So I was thinking, okay, instead of just assuming a lot of stuff, instead of just predicting how it's going to happen, I'm going to just work on the LinkedIn automation. To save time, I went to GitHub and I started writing LinkedIn scraper, LinkedIn extensions, and all sorts of things that I can use. So I experimented with some of the tools, and the idea of what I'm going to build starting to be more clear. Then I was thinking, okay, so I'm trying to build this software by the end of this month. And if I really think about it, what's the most important valuable thing that I'm going to give to my user? It's the LinkedIn automation. Yes, the CRM is nice, but the other things are not really important. If I just give them this thing, they will pay me for that. So from that point on, I decided, okay, so let's let go of the CRM. The CRM is not important. So the lesson for me from this week is, what is the core valuable thing that my user is going to use, and it's the most important thing. Once I identify this, I start working only on that, and I release that as fast as possible to the market so they can test it. So that's the first part of the week. So I was thinking, okay, I need LinkedIn automation, that's all I need. But it's not just that, because it's still going to take me some time. How am I going to make it in less than 2 weeks? What I did to figure this out, so I'm trying to connect with entrepreneurs on a weekly basis. I think it's important to network with people. So every week I'm aiming to make a call with at least one software entrepreneur. This week was the second week and I did the second call with an entrepreneur, and yeah, I really like it. And by the way, if you want to do something like this as well, I joined a few Slack groups. I will link them down below, like MicroConf and Indie Worldwide. I joined them and they basically pair you up with other entrepreneurs in the group, which is nice. And also there are a few services that you can pay for them and they can pair you up with entrepreneurs. I think I'm going to pay for that in the future. So I was talking with this entrepreneur about my idea, and he told me something really valuable, because he told me you actually don't need to implement the LinkedIn automation yourself. Maybe you can find some services that are working already and you can just take them and integrate it to your system and just give them to user. Okay, you don't need to build it from scratch. Maybe at first just use the service, even if it costs money. Use these services in your backend, and once you get product market fit, once you get some users, you can maybe build it yourself. But first, because you try to go fast, find out other tools that you can use without building that all from scratch. And I think it's very valuable, because as a software developer, my first tendencies, and maybe you as well, is to build things all by ourselves. But this is the thinking of a developer. If I want to really become a software entrepreneur, a SaaS entrepreneur who is really selling software instead of just developing software, I need to change my mindset from, yes, I'm a so good developer, I'm going to build this software, from that to, okay, is it important right now for me to build this software from scratch, or is it more valuable for me to just take something that exists and just making sure that it's working and go to the market as fast as possible? And since I'm planning to use existing solutions and build on top of them, it's going to save me so much time. Now, the other thing I did this week is integrating payments. It's still not done, but I was worried about this because in my country I can't really use Stripe, so I started to look for other solutions. Yes, I can use PayPal, but a lot of people say it's cumbersome. I'm still going to maybe do PayPal, but what I did is I decided to use Braintree. But again, if I would decide to build an integration for Braintree, it would take me weeks and weeks to make sure everything is working. So what I did instead is I went to GitHub and I searched for Braintree. Specifically, I searched Braintree and SaaS. And by godly magic, I got some good repository that built with the Meteor. Okay, I don't really use this thing, but what was valuable for me is looking at an existing solution, look how they connected everything. So now all I'm doing is I'm taking the code that they built in JavaScript and Meteor and I'm converting that to my code. So I was thinking I need to invent the wheel and I need to do everything by myself. But if I just take existing solutions, learn what they did, integrate it to my own things and to what I need, I can save months and months of time. And as I said, go to the market as fast as possible. So the main mission for this week is to finish the LinkedIn automation, finish the front end, finish the billing, and making sure the core valuable thing is working. Then what's left is to bug fixing, testing, and all these things. That this is what I'm going to do in the next week, and hopefully then I'm going to launch it. Now if you watched till this point, I really appreciate you and I really thank you for having the time to watch my video. Make sure you click the like button and subscribe button if I provided you any value, and make sure you click the notification bell down below so you get notified for next videos. And comment down below everything that comes to your mind after watching this video, because I always like to interact with new people and meet new people. Can I really build this thing by the end of the month? Who knows? We'll see.